Hello.
Hello, Renay.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Renay.
Hey. The music. There we go. Is that the nice intro music?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sending that link. I was like, no, I don't have any way to log on. Is it the same link for all?
Yeah, same for all. All
Okay,
of them.
so I'll save that one. I was
Just save
looking.
that one.
Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome. And you did give me the. Okay, I do have the ability to share. I don't really have any slides, but I don't know if you know the topic, but I was going to give you some tips for healthy eating when working from home.
Okay.
So I'm going to be more casual. I have about a dozen or so tips, but before I start, I wanted to show one thing on the screen, and I'm going to share it. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. I want you to take a look. Can you see this? Okay, I want you to take a look. Can you guess by looking at the ingredients what this is? And you can either just shout it out or.
Also, chocolate, sugar.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand that.
It's many things, vitamins, chocolate.
Yeah. You know what it is? When I first looked at this, because somebody gave this information to me, when I first looked at it, I thought it was some kind of chocolate candy bar, chocolate peanut butter candy bar, because it has peanut butter fudge in it.
Protein bar? Is it a protein bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a protein bar. So, yeah. So the reason why I put this up, I wanted to put this up right in the beginning, is that it's kind of interesting when you're hungry and you're looking for a quick snack. It's easy to think, okay, I'm just going to grab a protein bar or something more healthy. But you really do need to look at the ingredients on the labels to actually see what you're eating. So I just wanted to throw that out there. We'll talk a little bit about that in one of my tips. But what I wanted to go through is just a few tips, 12 tips to help you when working from home. So tip number 1, stick to a schedule. Sticking to a schedule will be one of the most important things you can do to regulate your diet when working from home. You know, with a kitchen full of tempting treats within reach, it becomes all too easy to snack in between meals. So just as you would schedule and plan out the rest of your day, establish when you are going to eat. So if you know you like to eat around noon, lunch, plan for that. And if you know you like to have a snack in the late afternoon, plan for that as well. And you want to treat food the same way you would treat food in the office. So when you're in the office, you can't graze all day long when you're there. So act the same way when you're home. And you should also aim to eat breakfast within 1 hour of waking up. Then you can plan your meals for the day, spaced about 3 to 5 hours apart. And you want to stop your eating or end eating at least 3 hours before bed so your stomach has time to digest overnight. And then one last thing on this tip is don't skip meals. Because a lot of times when you're in that flow and you're getting a lot of work done, it can be hard to get out of your seat and take time for a normal lunch. But the truth is, the longer you go without eating, the more you fall into the temptation of overeating when you get the time. So I'm curious, how many of you actually have an office with a door at home? Just show of hands. Anybody? Okay. So this leads into my next tip. Don't work in or near the kitchen. And the reason why I asked if you had an office with a door is because you don't want to just wander into the kitchen when you're going for a break. So this tip is around not working in the kitchen or near the kitchen, because you may be tempted to wander over and check the fridge if it's in your line of vision. And you may just find it easy to waltz into the kitchen for a quick bite in the middle of a telephone call or between projects. So the only time you should go into the kitchen is when you have planned to go into the kitchen to schedule, your meal, your lunch, or your snack, or whatever. And if this is really hard for you, you can hang a sign on your fridge or pantry to remind you that it's closed. The kitchen is closed until the next scheduled meal or snack. And don't cheat by keeping a drawer full of snacks in your desk either. So tip number 3, I call it out of sight, out of mind. So studies show that we eat with our eyes, and there are dramatic psychological and brain changes seen in response to when we see food images. So you want to keep unhealthy foods out of sight and in the fridge or drawers or cupboard, or better yet, strip them from your kitchen completely. You know, replace those pizzas and chocolates with fruits and veggies and other real food items. Okay, another poll. How many of you actually do meal prepping? Okay, this is going into my next tip. Meal prep your foods. Planning your meals in advance can really help you eat healthy. It can help you save money and actually save you time. And you have no time to prepare a snack during the day. It's going to be very tempting to find some junk or processed foods nearby if you don't have anything that you've prepared. But if you have prepared beforehand, you can grab whatever you prepared, which is going to be more healthy. So if you can, try to meal prep your lunches and snacks ahead of time, just like you would if you were physically going into the office. Like if you're going into the office and you bring lunch, then you can do that. Pre-cut your vegetables ahead of time so you can quickly cook something up, you know, for lunch. And cooking and preparing your meals does actually take a little bit of time. But what you can do if you're working from home, you can take the time that it normally takes you to commute in the office and dedicate that time to meal prep. And one of the easiest things you can do is actually, you know, when you're thinking about what you want to make, create that grocery list, go shopping at least once a week. And to even make it easier, there are apps for your phone that you can actually use to help you with the prep, the shopping list, the recipes, and all that. I use one called AnyList, and I love it. It's great. Another thing you can do is if you're planning to cook meals, like cooking a dinner, make extra so you have leftovers for lunch the next day. Okay. Tip number 5, drink plenty of water. This is good for anything. It's not just for healthy eating at home. It's everybody needs to stay hydrated. So I'm just curious, do you guys know how many cups of water you should drink per day? Do you know what the standard is?
I blindly take 3 liters of water a day.
You do? Wow. Yeah, the standard rule of thumb is you take your body weight in pounds and divide that in half and convert it to ounces. So I'll take an easy number. If you weigh 100 pounds, you should be drinking 50 ounces of water a day. So that's like a standard rule. And that's, I think, where they got, where you hear, oh, drink 8 cups of water a day or whatever. That's pretty much the standard. So that's something to go by. If you drink more, great. That's awesome. What I should say is if you are someone that does a lot of exercise and work out, you're going to need more water than just the standard 8 cups or half your body weight in ounces. So why do I say drink plenty of water? Well, dehydration can cause headaches and fatigue, and that will deter your productivity when working from home. So just as you fill up a water bottle in the office to keep at your desk, why not keep a water bottle at your desk at home? If you have water readily available, chances are you're more likely to sip on it. And another thing is dehydration is often mistaken for hunger. So you may actually feel hungry, but when your body just needs more fluids. So what I like to say is if you feel hungry, try drinking a glass of water first and waiting about 10 minutes, and then see if that hunger decreases before you actually eat. If you're one of those people that don't like drinking plain water, you can add lemon or lime or try out herbal tea as well. But what I do say is avoid sodas and juice and energy drinks and sugary drinks, which will give you all those empty calories. Not only, do they pack on the pounds, they actually cause you to crash later on, leading to more hankerings for sweet foods. So it becomes a vicious cycle. Tip number 6, limit caffeine. Now this may be an odd one for, staying healthy, because caffeine pretty much, a lot of people drink it. But some experts believe that too much caffeine can increase cortisol, which is our stress hormone. And excess amounts of this hormone can lead to sugar cravings. And when your caffeine boost wears off, you'll be left feeling a little slow and wanting to grab a snack for energy. So aim for no more than 2 cups of caffeine per day to avoid that jittery feeling, and also avoid flavored creamers and other high calorie add-ins. So another question for you guys. Do you guys all eat at your desks? Do you like eating at your desks? I know I used to do that when I was in the office.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, please. Just a question. Okay, Renay, sometimes I have bad habits, and that I cannot plan my meals. So when I come back home at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I just go crazy, like I want to eat, and this make me a little bit, to be honest, I'm trying every time, and I love sugar. I eat, like, when I finish directly, I have to eat my sweets. So I feel sometimes I cannot also, my weight is every time going 3 less, 3 more, 3 less kilo more, 3 less. So also I have a problem with my belly here, and so the belly here. Why you laugh, guys? They laugh on me. So I have a problem. What are the things can reduce my belly in a way, like, I come back, okay, I reduce my diet, I reduce my kilos, but I want the things to reduce my belly also. Because when you reduce your kilos, doesn't mean that your belly will be changed, right? So what are the things can I do, like drinking water more? Sometimes some people tell me you have to take gingers with lemon. I don't know what they are doing. Everyone taking advising a formula. What do you advise as an expert?
So yeah, you definitely want to stay hydrated. That's number 1, drink your water, because a lot of times if you're hungry, like I said, you may just be thirsty. So make sure you are getting the right amount of fluids per day. That's a given for sure.
What is the amount?
So the amount is your body weight in pounds. Divide that in half and turn it into ounces.
Okay.
So that's how many ounces you personally should be drinking per day. And what I would suggest too, because I do have clients that have trouble, like overnight, having to use the washroom. So try to load up on all the water when you wake up. What I do personally, and I think it's great, it works well for me, because I have trouble getting my water intake sometimes too. So I'm a coffee drinker. When I wake up, the first thing I do is I take a mug of water, put a drop of lemon oil in it, heat it up in the microwave, make it warm. I have 2 of those before I even have my coffee or anything during the day. So that's 2 cups of water within an hour that's done, that I've gotten into my system. And then I'm not really hungry for breakfast until a little while later, and I don't need my caffeine right away. And the experts say that you don't want to have your caffeine, if you like it, right when you wake up. You want to give your body time. You want your hormone levels to even out after waking up. So it's actually better to have caffeine a little bit later, just not right when you wake up. So that's a good way to start, going back to water, a good way to start getting your water intake is to drink it first thing in the morning before you put anything else in your body. If you're looking to get, reduce your stomach, you really have to look at what you're eating. If you say you like sugar, the problem with sugar is the more you eat, the more you want to eat. And it may be anything. You may not want more sugar, but it'll just make you hungry, because it gives you end up on this blood sugar roller coaster, because you get this real high and then you get a low, and then you want that high again. So then you start putting more food in your mouth, which is more calories, which is going to pack on the pounds as well. So you really want to look at what you're eating. You may also be eating things that your body doesn't like. If you feel like you're more bloated and you have a belly, then you really do need to think about what you're eating. It could be the sugar, but it could be other things as well. Like you may be eating foods that are, highly inflammatory. There are known foods that are, like gluten is one, peanuts are another. There's a list of foods that are inflammatory. And So you may want to look at those as well. But typically, if somebody comes to me, I would look at their diet right away and say, okay, what are you eating through the day, and when you're eating, and how are you eating? And that would help me determine what we can do, for sure. So it really does depend on the unique situation, your unique body. But I hope I was able to answer a little bit.
Do you advise to make a blood test?
You can. It's always good to get a general blood test. When you go to your doctor, they prescribe the general panel, which really doesn't test much. It tests your cholesterol and stuff like that. There are other types of blood tests that you can do that will tell you what foods are better for you. Whether they're accurate or not, it's debatable. I've done them myself and I've followed them and they seem to work for me. Like for me, I shouldn't be eating red meat. I shouldn't be eating dairy or eggs or things. They don't do anything. They don't make me sick. It's just that they make me, tax my immune system and stuff like that. So you can get blood tests like that too. It's better to find a functional doctor that actually will do more work on you and is more willing to do some of the additional testing that OHIP may not provide. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think we're on to, I'm just looking at my notes here, tip number 7. So when you eat, just eat. So the reason why I ask if you guys like eating at your desk, I know I hardly ever eat at the table. It's really bad. I know I shouldn't say that, but I don't eat at my desk. I sit and actually eat in my living room, which is probably just as bad. But the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that being distracted while eating caused people to eat more at that meal. So the research showed that increasing mindfulness during a meal may help promote weight loss. So what you want to do is take a break from work and sit somewhere away from your workstation and try to have your proper meal at a proper table if possible. And if you're not able to move away from your workstation, then close down your computer for a few minutes while you eat. You can also try to eat outside, which gives you that much needed mental break and prevents speed eating as well. So if you have some outdoor space, pack your food and go outside on a balcony or front lawn or even the park. Another thing I want to mention is turning off the TV at meal times will help you eat mindfully as well. And it allows you to savor the taste, enjoy your cooking, slow down, and avoid the overeating. And while I'm on that, we'll go on to the next tip, eat a balanced meal. So balanced, nutritious food makes us more productive. It keeps us fuller longer and helps us focus. So you want to eat meals that contain healthy carbs, proteins, and fats every few hours. And this will help stabilize your blood sugar, your insulin, and your cortisol levels. And it also means it will give you sustained energy and less cravings through the day. So going back to planning, if you can plan ahead of time, it'll make it easier to avoid noshing on whatever looks tastiest and quickest in the moment. Tip number 9, portion out snacks and meals. So how many of you actually have eaten Doritos out of the bag? So what you want to do is you never want to do that. You don't want to eat out of the bag or the original container because you want to be able to control your portion. So if you ever look at the label on the bag, it'll tell you how many servings there are. And I know for me, if I grab a bag of Doritos, I can eat the whole thing in one sitting if I allow myself to, especially if I'm sitting in front of the TV. So that's one thing. The other thing you can do is serve your food on smaller plates. So there was a study that examined about 50 men and women, and they were served varying sizes of meals. So one group of participants were served a portion on a plate, like a smaller plate, while a second group received it on a serving dish in which they could take the amount that they desired. So the participants that ate off the smaller plates the participants that ate off the larger plates consumed 30% more calories, which was almost 700 calories for that study, when they were offered the largest portion. as opposed to the smaller portion plates. So I found that very interesting. Tip number 10, stay away from junk food. I know I mentioned the Doritos. So you don't want to stock your fridge like a vending machine. This will encourage you to eat it because it's there and it's easy to grab. So keep it out of your house, especially the foods that can trigger your appetite. You stay away from that high-fat, high-processed snacks like the one I showed you in the beginning. You want to really look at if you need to buy things that are already pre-made, really look at the ingredients and make sure you know what you're eating. Because most of today's high-fat snacks use unhealthy oils and pack in a lot of calories with very few nutrients. So it's better to just stay away. So, try when you're doing your meal planning or prepping, try to make some things ahead of time, like healthy snacks, whether it's just, veggies like carrots or celery or apples. Grab some proteins such as yogurt, make hard-boiled eggs, grab a handful of nuts and seeds. Those are good things for snacks. And tip number 11, understand your hunger, thirst, and cravings. So going back to drinking water, when you're busy, it's often hard to tell if you're hungry or thirsty or just having a craving. So like I mentioned before, if you are getting a craving or you think you're hungry, grab that glass of water, drink a full glass, wait 10 minutes and see if you're hungry. Another thing you can do to understand if it's really hunger, thirst, or craving is ask yourself the following questions. So number 1, what am I doing right in this moment that is making me want to go into the kitchen and eat? Number 2, what is cueing the hunger? Am I actually hungry or sad or bored or anxious or depressed? So note your feelings or know what you're feeling right in that moment. And then ask yourself, is there something I want to avoid? Am I procrastinating? Am I trying to distract myself away from something? I mean, maybe it's because I need to get this piece of work done and I just don't want to do it. Another question is, you can just say, I want right now. What I want right now is blank, and fill in that blank. Or what am I choosing right now to honor my body is blank. So if you ask yourself those questions, I have this as a little journal for some of my clients that, when they know they want to go and eat, they ask themselves these questions and it really helps them. And then last but not least, when you take a break, step outside, not into the kitchen. So many people working from home fall into the habit of snacking every chance they get. So if you have a quick break, go outside and actually get some sunshine, get some vitamin D, talk to your neighbor or do some stretching. The activity and the scenery change will help you both physically and mentally. So I think I got through all 12. I don't know if you have any questions on the ones. I kind of went through them pretty quickly.
Renay, I have one question. I hear a lot of this fad around intermittent fasting.
Yep.
It's a lot of fad I hear. I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. If you can help us know the truth. So
I have personally no issues with intermittent fasting, but it all depends on the person. Like a lot of these diets out there, some are good for some people, some are good for others. Intermittent fasting is actually not a bad thing to do if you think about it. When I take clients through my cleanse, I have a 21-day cleanse, and I ask them to stop eating at 7 p.m. And then I also ask them to, they don't eat anything after 7, and then they start eating, they may eat breakfast, but I ask them to track how many hours between dinner and breakfast. And normally it is at least 12 hours. So when you look at some of these intermittent fasting ideas, most of us typically are already doing it. The science behind it is that you really want to let your body process and digest everything that you've eaten through the day. And it does that through the night when you sleep. And you want to allow your body to do that. So it's nice to be able to stop and stop eating at a certain time early in the evening. I always say 3 hours before bed, which allows your body to digest and start the digestion process before you go to bed and as you're sleeping. Because if you eat too close to bed, you may not get a good quality sleep because you're full, your body's trying to digest all that food that you've eaten right before bed. So I would say for somebody that's normally healthy, intermittent fasting can be very good. And I know you can do it like 12 hours up to 18 hours. I've seen people do it longer. I'm not a big fan of that, but I think it's pretty easy for someone who's healthy to just skip breakfast and, eat dinner at a sensible time the night before, and then have lunch the next day and eat in that window between noon and 7. I think that's perfectly acceptable. As long as you're getting all of your nutrients in that time frame that you are eating, and you're eating a decent amount of food that will sustain you, and you're not going to wake up the next morning and gorge. So it really does depend on the person. I have heard that people who are diabetic, it's not really good for. So you really, really need to see your situation. And I always recommend people talk to their doctors first before doing any kind of diet, keto, intermittent fasting, anything like that, because everybody's different. So that was a long-winded answer.
I just have like a little follow-up kind of question.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, do you know about PCOS? Like
yes.
PCOS? So
yeah, I'm not an expert in it, but yes, I know. Yes.
It's like, is intermittent like okay with PCOS? Like any idea on that, or like maybe kind of thing?
I've heard people have done well who have had it and do it. I have not personally worked with anybody who has it, so I can't, and I've not put anybody through intermittent fasting, so I can't really talk too much. But I am part of a lot of groups around where women have PCOS, and they have done it.
That's great. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing. I think as long as you're getting all your nutrients, you should be fine. And I think what you can do, the nice thing about intermittent fasting is that you can gradually get yourself into it. It's not like you have to start at day 1 and fast for 18 hours.
I'm at
12 hours.
I started at 6:18 and I'm at 24 now. Like 4 hour and 20 hour. Yeah, I'm at that now. And like
wow.
and and it's been helping me a lot.
Well, that's good. I think, and I think if you feel it's helping, and you're not, getting tired and energy, and you don't have brain fog.
Like I stop in like in between. I like switch to like lesser, like 18, the 6:18. But like right now I'm kind of doing the 24. It's tough, but yeah, it's fine. It keeps me going. It's fine. So it's like, your body gets used to it kind of thing.
How long have you been doing it?
So, it started like a lifestyle, as in like I was also a student. So, I had like no time. So the whole day I had like classes and everything. And then I'm back home around like, 8, 9. And then at that moment I would go to the kitchen. So first I used to, just eat something outside or something unhealthy. But then I slowly switched at least that meal to like, a healthy meal. And
and that's, That's
Yeah.
the thing too, is when in those 4 hours, you need to be really mindful of what you're eating. You don't just want to gorge yourself on everything. You need to really make sure you're getting the proper nutrients.
Yeah, exactly. So, in that meal, I try to eat the healthy I can. So I cook like good food, like a whole meal kind of thing. And it's fine.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Awesome. Anybody else? Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Awesome. All right then. Well, I think that will conclude it. Unless there's anything else, Arushi, Sunny?
I guess, thank you so much, Renay. Truly appreciate that. Was a lot of information which directly impacts, at least 50% of the information directly impacts my life at this point in time. So pretty handy, I must say. Truly appreciate for sharing those with us, and you actually nailed us, trust me. So yeah, and we look forward. Renay, by the way, I've got a question for you. Do you speak French, by the way?
I do not.
You do not? Okay, then you should make it to our friend session next week. That's on Friday, I guess. Yeah, we'll be learning some F words of French in the next week. So
Awesome. Yeah, definitely.
awesome. So until then, thank you so much, Renay. We'll see you next week in our other sessions, and have yourself a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. And if there's any topics you want to discuss around nutrition or whatever, bring them up, and I will put something together.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.